What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, anyways, we're going to hit the ground running. Kind of with this V8 and everything going on, today's news on the Chevy V8, it really is just more statistics than anything, but it doesn't matter. I don't care if they change a little tiny screw on it. Making a video on it because they need to hear all the content needs to be in their face as much as possible. So, anyways, I found a very good article kind of comparing the two, and it pretty much goes hand in hand with everything pretty much like what we covered on our live stream. So let's get it back today. So here it is. And it reads, GM's new small block V8 is the best powertrain for pickups and SUVs. Get back in your face here. You guys have to keep in mind, it has to start somewhere. So if it's SUVs and trucks, this is going to be the most common place where SUVs are like the most sold type of vehicle in the industry, period, flat out, bar none. Off the top of my head, I don't have any stats, I don't have any numbers for you, but it is by a landslide. The sales of SUVs and, minivans and everything, they might be slowly dying out, but especially around here, it's just SUVs. Any of the bigger capacity type vehicles, that's just what people are buying. It seems to be, leading the way. So if we have to get a V8 in those, especially trucks, construction sites, there's a lot of people, it's just like I was talking in a live stream, people remotely off the grid, way up in Alaska or, in extreme conditions. These EV trucks are not going to cut it. They can't even come close. So let's get back into the ad. Now, this particular author, Richard, this piece was written by Richard Truitt. It says he's a reporter covering technology and engineering for Jaguar and Land Rover. So it's a good piece. Thanks, Richard, for making this. If you're watching this, if you ever see this. But says, at the industry confabs, over the past 5 years or so, we've heard powertrain experts proclaim that the internal combustion engine isn't dead yet. I don't like the way that they structure that because it's just fear-mongering. It's far from dead. How about that? So, sometimes I hate the way that these people like word stuff or package it to you, because it's pretty much all doom and gloom. And like I said, I read in other articles to you guys on a live stream that we're gonna have V8s for decades to come. So at the bare minimum, we're gonna have great motors. Blah blah blah. He goes on to talk about it. We're gonna spend $1 billion. We already talked about that, and all it does is divvy out. It says GM for now says it's sticking with its quiet, smooth running 3-liter inline turbo diesel engine that is optional for its big trucks and SUVs. Something's better than nothing, I guess, right? But it's like I was saying. These people that need to have you use your truck to get to a work site, and then you use your truck as a power station itself. So whether that engine has to sit there and idle and power, different tools or whatever it may be, or just simply, sitting there idling, producing heat, keep the cab heated. There's a lot of different uses for internal combustion engines as far as like job sites and everything else goes. These EVs can't keep up, and they're not even close. And I'm so happy somebody's covering this. You might think that the investment at the dawn of a modern electric era, no. When buyers are finally warming up to EVs, I don't see that in the public, but when the EV's range is improving and prices are falling, they're falling because they have to. Period, flat out. Would be foolish way to spend hundreds of millions of dollars. You would be wrong. That is true. Big pickups and SUVs are still more practical and profitable with gasoline and diesel engines. With the gasoline or diesel engine than with an electric powertrain. Exactly. Parts, service, I mean, I can't really say recharging time, but these are all ways that dealerships and manufacturers make a ton of money. Anybody that's ever worked on a car, period, there's, you tear into a car and you think, oh, there's gotta be a way to simplify this. Of course there is. They've taken the time to make it engineered to where you have to buy the stuff from them, or they're gonna have a patent on it forever. That way you have to buy the stuff from them, or they're gonna make it so difficult for aftermarket companies to manufacture parts, you have to buy it from them. So, there's a ton of ways that these auto manufacturers are making money from the sales of vehicles, period. So it goes on. For example, a 2023 Silverado with a 3-liter, that turbo inline diesel, EPA rated at 29 miles per gallon on the highway, and theoretically could go for 696 miles on 24 gallon of fuel. So listen, that's optimum. That's very best. That is ideal. That is, is it going to deviate? Yeah, a little bit less, I would say, but really not that much. Refueling only takes minutes. We've talked about that in the live stream. Zero interest in sitting there charging 30, 40 an hour, whatever it's going to take to charge these things up. And then you're going to get a shorter range, or, you're going to get a shorter payload, or you're going to get a shorter this and that and whatever. It's a bad deal all the way around. We all know it. No electric truck can top that range. There you go. I would say it's almost triple or quadruple what electric truck could do. But I'm just going on a limb there. Especially when towing or hauling. Gasoline-powered trucks and SUVs hold many of the same advantages over electrics. I've said it. I've said it for a long time. We're not there yet, period. We're not there yet, and I don't think you're ever going to get there. There could be some big technological breakthrough that could happen. I'll leave this article up here for a little bit for you to actually read and go through. Actually, you can pause the screen and read the article through, but it says Michael Franke, Senior Vice President for Engine and Hybrid Powertrains at FEEV North America. I don't know. It says next generation's engines such as GM's will need to run cleaner at cold startup. Those of you wondering, cold start? You're talking about open loop, closed loop. So when an engine is cold, all these tolerances, valve lash, and nothing's pumped up, no oil, the oil's not up to temperature. So in order for this engine to, to run, stay run, and sustain a certain RPM in order to get the lifters pumped up, the engine oil up to temp, the coolant pressure, get all the fluids moving and all the fluids up to temperature spec. It goes into this thing called open loop. Open loop does nothing but it just makes the engine idle at a higher RPM than typically what it would. That way it would sustain running and it would accelerate the process of getting everything pumped up and up to temp. It usually takes like 20 seconds, 30 seconds or whatever. And you'll notice in the morning when your engine RPMs go down, it hits closed loop and then it can go down to its normal baseline RPM. And so that's what they're talking about as far as that's when it's trying to heat up the catalytic converters. And there's, in the morning when you turn the key on that car, in the ignition of that car, there's probably 2,000 things happening all at once. So that's what they're talking about. So initial startup for that first 30, 40 seconds, I guess that's what they're worried about here. So I don't think that would be that hard to do for the engineers. And despite all the money automakers are spending on electrification, FEV, Franke says, still does major testing and development on internal combustion engines. As they should. This last part, I'm getting in your face because I'm telling you this last part is important. And it goes along with everything that we have talked about in the live stream. Tracy, here we go, bud. Goes to say, until battery technology advances to where it can enable an electric truck to meet or beat the performance and price of a gasoline or diesel truck, don't expect the gasoline or diesel engines to disappear. Boom. So there you go, guys. It basically, that's all they're saying is, look, you know, it's so good to see them coming back, you know, backpedaling a little bit and you know, getting back on the back foot and taking another step back and saying, look, you know, maybe you guys are right all along. Maybe this whole process sucks, because it's true. It goes along with everything that we talked about. So I don't care what it is until they need to hear, share the video, like this video, show whoever you think needs to see this video. But until they realize electric vehicles suck.